Hey everybody out there, this is JD with the Martial Art Unlimited Association, and today I have a special guest. I have Guru Ron Balicki from the Martial Art Research Systems, or MARS, and so we're going to bring you guys an interview today. So, Guru Ron, so my first question is, what got you started in the martial arts?
Bruce Lee. I'm 55. I was born in '63. The whole Kato thing. It was pretty new. I got to see it when it first came out, and everybody went hog wild, and I was hooked.
Cool.
Just right from then. So, what did it come out? Mid '60s, I think. So I was a little kid when that thing came out, but just probably just like you would hit me with a ton of bricks. It's like, oh my god, look at this guy.
Yeah.
I have to know this.
That's actually why I got started as well.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you first started?
I was probably about 6, 7, something like that.
Okay.
There weren't schools on every corner like now.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a guy teaching karate out of his backyard, and we would all go there, all the kids, and he was showing us. And then a kung fu school had opened, and I went there, and it was short-lived. I was probably about a few months in it, which isn't even really fair to say. I was doing kung fu, but I just remember it closed. I was like, what? And from there, I just started hunting. I was older by then, not older a lot, but I mean, you would find it here and there, and then do without it because you couldn't find it. And eventually, I found a school called Genki Karate, and started going there. And I went there until pretty much I met Inosanto.
Okay, so Genki Karate was your first style?
Yeah, it was. Well, Genki was the school. Shorin.
Oh, Shorin. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what has been your favorite martial art to train, and why?
All right, how do I answer that? I can't say I have a favorite. It's like seasons. I'll be like, shoot wrestling, or Kali, or Tiger. I think if you really, really think about this, the whole Inosanto thing, the way he's looked at it, jived with me. I like the way he looked at the ground. I like the way he looked at standing up. I like the weaponry. And I kind of followed his lead with that, and it was just a fun ride.
Got it.
It to me, it satisfied all areas. I remember at first I came because of Jake Kitty, the whole Bruce Lee connection. I wanted that, and after I met him and started training, I was like, it's more than Bruce Lee. It's this guy too, and I realized that he was a big part of just the evolution of Jeet and where it went. And he was a good. I'll call it wingman. He was a good second to Bruce Lee because he wasn't. He's not ego driven, so he sat back. He put his influence in, and he was just sitting there collecting. And then he was thrust in that position. Obviously, when Bruce Lee passed away, I don't think he ever really wanted that position. He just wanted to learn and train.
Right.
But somebody had to take the helm and show it for what it was, and that was him. And I liked where he went with it.
Gotcha.
So it became more than Bruce Lee to me after that. It was like, wow, this guy Inosanto is amazing. He's doing this weapon stuff, and I never knew that would be part of it. And it just grew, and I got hooked. And so to answer the question, I would say the one art that kind of really grabs me and holds me, and I think it's because it has everything in it, is probably Kali. I love JKD, I love Shoot, I love Thai, I love Silat, Savate, everything that we do there. But Kali seems to be something that a 6-year-old could do and an 80-year-old could do. It grows with you. You know what I mean? And it can look like as flowery as you want it, or it could look as rough and combative as you want it. It depends on your attitude and what you want out of it.
Yes.
And there are times where he'll have us go hog wild crazy, and then other times he's like, all right, let's make it look really flared and fancy. And it's the yin and yang of the art. And I like that it explores everything from the ground. So it even has firearms in it.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't know that. So what has been your most memorable moment of your martial art career?
Wow. How do I answer that? For me, Most memorable moment. That's a good one. That's a good question. There's so many. That's why,
Right.
I would say memorable moments.
Top 3.
I'll tell you what. It's martial art and movie.
Okay.
All right. And I've had a chance to do stunt work and be on certain movies. And a memorable thing is, and it really isn't like a technique or an
Right.
event. It was walking on the set of the Enterprise.
Okay.
I was in Star Trek, and I'm going, holy cow! I'm on Star Trek, the TV show, and I've seen it since
Right.
a little kid. And I did do martial arts on the show, and it wasn't even about that. It was about martial arts got me here.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was doing something. I mean, do you ever think you're going to be in a movie?
Right.
It's something that you've watched since you were a toddler, And that was like a big moment for me because I just kind of went, wow, look where this brought me.
Yeah.
And the same thing like when I went to Dubai or Abu Dhabi and places like that, I was like, wow, Africa. I'm in the middle of Africa, and I'm like going, martial art got me here. And it's given me so much more than exercise and maybe a little self-confidence or, whatever else martial artists think that it gave. I mean, to me, boundaries are limitless. It brought me all over the world.
It's funny you mention that because I know a couple years ago when I hosted you here, my son was at his mom's house and he was watching movies and he was watching a couple with you in it. And then he came home and he's like, this guy's in my house. I was just watching him in this movie and here he is sitting here hanging out with me. Like, he just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So the question was, besides Guru Dan, who was your most influential instructor? Or to your training?
All right, so I'm going to have to name a couple of people.
Okay.
It would be Larry Lindemann.
Okay.
Larry Lindemann was, if you don't know Larry Lindemann, it's Lindenman, not Linderman. Look him up. Amazing. He's was an Inosanto instructor. He was a Kali and Silat instructor and JKD for me. And he's like, Larry pushed me way beyond what I thought. I mean, he's not a mean person. He's an amazing man, and he didn't let me skate on anything.
Got it.
And he instilled in me that work ethic. I think a lot. That, and it's not that I didn't have a work ethic and wanted it, but he pressed me. He really pressed me way more than what I thought, and he got a lot more out of me than what I thought I could give.
Right.
And he's an amazing technician, really great fighter. I mean, he's Illinois State Trooper. He's done so much. Now he's bodyguarding. He retired from the police department, but he's still teaching. And we call it car jitsu. He will teach people how to fight inside a car. He was an undercover police officer, and we've had a training where we've invited police to come in. And they've gotten a car, and they were undercover cops, and they're like, I thought I had a handle on this. And Larry brings it to a way different level. The guy's amazing. So Larry would be one. He's the first one because he was my first.
Right.
Then I would say Yuri Nakamura. Yuri, if you had to look at if you had to define cleanliness in your technique, Yuri. He's powerful, he's strong. He probably looks more like Bruce Lee than I think anybody. And he's another one. He instilled that, you're going to do this, and it's going to be this way, and if not, you're not moving ahead until you get it. And you got it. A lot of people left,
right,
because he's tough.
Got it.
But when you got it, you got it. You know what I mean? And there's so much of him in me, even now. Like if I grab a lock, and I've not been wrestling as much as I used to, but when I grab it, he's always in my head. I can't shake him about have this in, and I still. It's funny, you're not grappling as much. You lose it. It's not like riding a bicycle. You're not going to just always maintain it.
Right.
You got to keep going with this. But I know the minute I go, I can feel it kicking. I can feel my body contort the way he's always made me. And he's a part of me. I can't get it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, switching to your fighting career. So what was the reason you decided to jump into the ring and become a pro fighter?
I never fought for hey, I'm the champion. I just thought, if I'm going to be a teacher and I'm going to have people who fought, I need to fight.
Got it.
To me, it would be, what would be a good word for it's just, it wouldn't be fair if
Right.
I'm telling somebody what to do in the ring and I never experienced
Correct.
that
I got
stress,
it.
pressure, or anything. You know, I needed
Lead
to
by
experience
example.
it. Lead by example. There you go. And that was my view. I mean, I liked fighting, but it was never my goal. You know, I never wanted to kind of become this guy. You know, and I didn't want to be punch drunk, but I did want to give it my fair time.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
and in all fairness, I had a lot of anger in me. And it was a nice outlet for that too, you know, in a productive way to where you shake hands with your friends at the end.
Right.
But, you know, I never thought I'm going to keep going and be champion of the world. That wasn't the goal.
What do you think was your biggest takeaway from your pro fighting days?
Again, I'd be able to be a better teacher, a more legitimate teacher.
Got it.
You know, you can't teach race car driving and not have raced a car.
I understand.
And I see a lot of people doing this, you know, and I just thought, no, a hypocrite. Thanks.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I didn't want to be a hypocrite and just say, do this, do that, because I watched it. You know, you got to experience it. If you want to swim, get in the water.
Got it. And then how about, what was your craziest moment or memory from your fighting days?
The first one that comes to mind is I fought this guy, Hayama, and we're in the ring, and I jumped into a guillotine. He pushed me through ropes. It was pre-cage days.
Okay.
And we're hanging out of the ropes, and the refs are, they didn't stop us yet, but I'm trying to swing at this guy because that went through ropes. I let go of his head. And the refs are trying to stop us, and he's like, whoa, and he hit me right in the groin. You know, because my legs were wrapped around his
Right.
legs, so it was right here. He just, whoop, bam. And I remember whatever he thought he was going to do to me, he lit a fire. And that was memorable because I just remembered it's not a ring fight anymore. I'm gonna hurt you. So yeah.
Cool. Okay. Switching over to your acting and stunt career. So I have to ask this for my kids or my youth audience. So what was it like to be a Power Ranger?
Now, you know, I go, when I started Power Rangers, people don't realize this. They had, one of the coordinators, he had hired me for a movie. It was my first movie. It was called Sword of Honor.
Okay.
And I remember it was Mike, Nicolas, Joel Clark, and I. We all went and did this movie together. You know, we had no idea what we were doing. But the guy was an awesome guy. His name is Jeff Pruitt, and he's a stunt coordinator. You can look him up. Done tons of films. But I liked him because he was really cool with new people. If he thought you weren't going to hurt somebody and you had control, he's like, man, have at it. And he kind of let you shine. And he did that for a lot of newbies, you know. So he gave a lot of guys chances.
Okay.
And so I did this movie, Sword of Honor, with him. And then he said, hey, we have this new TV show coming out. It's called Power Rangers. And I was like, what's Power Ranger? I didn't know. And so we went and, you know, or he invited me to set, so I went and I did it. And 2 years later, I was still doing it.
Okay.
and it was goofy. It was, you know, it was fun. I mean, it can be really irritating because you're in Southern California in the middle of summer, all decked out and all this stuff, and you're just sweating your butt off, you know. But I'll tell you, it was like an assembly line the way they had it, because we had set after set after set after set, and we were running. Fight scene, next set, fight scene, next set, fight scene. So it wasn't like a lot of movies I did. It was good training ground because I was fighting, or we were training. And that I liked because every other set that I've been on since is nothing like it. And you start to train and you got wardrobe going, don't get dirty, don't get sweaty. And you're like, and you got to just sit there until you go. This was just go, train, come on. And it was great training ground. So I learned so much about, you know, more than just fight and choreography, about like continuity, placement, markers. You know, markers are like on the ground. Where are you at? Or where to pick up? And it was great. It was a great place to start. So I have to be fair to Power Rangers. It was a great learning experience. And to this day, I can't believe it. You know they have Power Ranger Day now.
Yes.
Look it up. There's an actual holiday, Power Ranger Day.
Right. And your student Michael Lasky's part of that.
Yeah. He's kind of my stepson. Like, he ended up moving in with Diana and I, and we raised him. It was really great. He got married, and he listed his father, which his father's a great man, as parents, and he listed my wife Diana and I as his parents also. So we're exceptionally close. I'm really proud of him. But he was the small Red Ranger when they went and morphed into little kids. That's not where I met him, though. I met him on the Three Ninja movie with Hulk Hogan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you said Sword of Honor was your first movie. The question was, what was your first paid acting role?
That'd be Sword
of Honor.
Well, is it acting? It's stunt work? I guess it's acting, but it's Sword of Honor would have been it.
Okay. So what was your most embarrassing role to date? Like if you were like, I just would never want to do that again.
Let me think of that out. I don't know if I had an embarrassing one. I mean, I've had ones where. Can it be outside of movies, theater?
Sure.
Okay, I did a play once and I got thrust into it. I didn't want to do it. I was the coordinator for. It's called East West Players. Do you know Mako?
I do not.
Remember Mako, the actor? He was in Conan the Barbarian.
Yes.
He started East West Players in California, in Los Angeles, and it's the largest Asian American theater company.
Okay.
And I was kind of the token white guy in there, and I was teaching. It's funny, Asian American theater company, and I'm the one who's teaching martial arts in it for all the fights. And there was a play that was done. It was called A Dirty Secret Between the Toes. Yeah, I know, it's a weird name. It was a comedy.
Okay.
And I had put all the fights together, and I was there from day one of putting it together, so I knew the dialogue in my head. I had everything and where the fights were and everything. And they're like, Ron, they have an understudy. So they go, Ron, the understudy just got a job in a movie. He quit. We need an understudy.
Wow. Okay.
And I go, okay, who are we going to get? And they looked at me. I'm like, no. I don't want to do it. Because it was way more than stunt work. It was, I'm fine with, you could set me on fire, throw me off a building, beat me up. I don't want to cry or love scenes or all this other stuff, And I got thrust into that. And I had to have this scene, it's really embarrassing, with a woman's foot. And and it's this like romantic scene because it's Dirty Secrets Between the Toes. It's about this crazy guy who has a foot fetish.
Got it.
And they're like, all right, Ron, and go. And I'm like, really? And so I blame my wife Diana for it. She's like, do this, Ron. It'll be good. It'll be good. And I was like, But that was kind of embarrassing. It ended up being fun at the end, but it's goofy to kind of, get into that mind. And I'm like going, I have to look at this thing like I'm passionate about it. And
right.
And I could just see that like the rehearsals were amazing because the actress, she's got to give me her foot, and I've got to do all this weird stuff. It was weird, wild, embarrassing.
Got it.
But in the end, it was kind of another learning experience and fun.
Okay. How about which role challenged you the most? Stunt or acting?
Every one of them challenges me. Even the smallest. I mean, I sweat it. It's like getting into a ring, and you're like, how are you gonna do in this fight? You got to give it your all, and there's never anything confident. I mean, like, I don't know if any of you guys fight, but if you fight, have you ever gotten in a ring and you think I got this or I'm gonna win it? But there's a little side of you going, what if I don't do as well? And I'm talking all this smack. So when I do a movie, no matter what, for one, if I'm the coordinator, there's a bit of fear in me. I want everybody healthy and safe.
Correct.
Because it's not me doing it. So I've got to trust. If I hire you, I got to trust that you can do this without hurting the person you're doing it with or yourself. So I have that. That's a big fear. So it's challenging to me. Then it's like, you're never going to please anybody. In Hollywood, they say you want to go for the middle 60. 20% will love you. 20% will hate you. You want to get in this area.
Got it.
And no matter what, I think Jesus himself could come down and someone would criticize him. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And so you can't aim to please everybody. So, obviously my first thing that I want to please is the director.
Got it.
Even if I'm second unit director, I'm not the director. The director is the man who's named Spielberg. There's a second unit director on Spielberg movies, but you probably don't know his name. Maybe different people, but it's Spielberg. So not that I work for Spielberg, but
understand.
It's like I'm trying. He's my first and foremost. Then I want to get obviously producers along with it, and then the actors. I got to get them to trust me and want to do this with me, and believe that I have their best interest at heart. And sometimes that doesn't go really well. I've had like temperamental people who are like, no, I envision it. I'm like, okay, and I got to try to respect that.
Got it.
But then I got to please that guy and that guy and that guy, that guy. So everything's challenging. Every time I'm on a movie, it's challenging. I would say one of the movies that turned out the best, that I was the most nervous. One of them. Sorry about that. I would say one of the movies that I was the most nervous about, that I kind of thought was challenging and so much responsibility, was one of the first that I was ever really put in charge of fully, and it was a movie called Prodigy.
Okay.
Little film, but it was a little shoot 'em up film, but it was fun, and the fight scenes were really, really fun, and we went for it. You know, I got to express my personality.
Gotcha.
And it was funny because my father-in-law, my instructor, Dan, had called me up one night. He goes, "Did you do a movie called Prodigy?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm in a hotel room. I had nothing to do, and I put it on." That's me, Ron. I was like, whoa. So, yeah. So The Prodigy was a challenging film, but I thought it came out pretty good, and it expressed my vision. Probably the best to date out of all films. You got to think of this. If you're doing a movie, sometimes you'll have your view, and you got to divorce yourself from it because the director goes, no, I'm right about this. So I don't get to express myself. Or maybe the talent pool's not there. Some people, like I've been stuck in other countries, and I can't get out of the stunt guys what I need.
Right.
So you got to skinny up everything. You got to, undress it a bit and just kind of go, ugh, there's the...
That's like you do.
Yeah. And that's hard. Or budget, time, those are all restraints. And everything affects the final product. Gotcha. So
cool. And then, what would you say was the best stunt that you've either been a part of or coordinated?
I like my fire stuff.
Okay.
That's kind of cool. I got to blow up a house with all of this biad getting thrown. I've been blown up a few times. That stuff's cool. Just to name one, I remember my first high fall. I went, yeah. And actually my first high fall was my first movie with Joel and Mike.
Okay.
Sword of Honor. And the coordinator, Jeff Pruitt's like, "You think you can do it?" And I go, "I'll do it." And it wasn't a real high, it was maybe 2 stories. But when you get up there and you look down and the pad looks like that, and you're like, "Uh-oh." And then I eventually got higher, and I've done some high falls to where the pad looks like now a cell phone case.
Correct.
You go from an iPad to something. And that you're like going, wow, okay. But the cool thing is, to date, I'll get scared, I get nervous, but then I once they go, "I roll camera," I go, I signed up for it. I'm doing this,
Cool. All right, switching over. This is going to be what we call the wisdom section. So, what advice would you give to somebody wanting to get started in stunt work?
Stunt work. Well, for one, train other things. Like we get people from gymnastics, obviously. We get divers. We get police officers. We get ex-fighters. We get guys who've raced cars for a living, motorcycles. You got to know what you're going into it for. Here's the thing. When I first started, I met a person and they're like, "You're not really a stuntman, Ron." And I go, "Yeah, I'm working Power Rangers for a couple of years. I did this because you're a fight guy. It's different."
Got it.
And I thought about it, and he's right. I've never rolled a car. I've never been hit by a car. I've never been bulldog tackled from behind. I've never burned. I've never been on a ratchet. So I started going, you know what? I need to start doing this. And I started getting into it and learning all the other aspects of the stunt world. And I've had a chance to do pretty much all of the above that I just mentioned. And you learn real quick. You learn safety, you learn rigging. There's so much more than just action and do your thing. Safety is number one, and that's the biggest lesson I've learned, and that's what you should learn. If you're interested in it, go to theater, do stuff like that, because it's more than just going in there and swinging punches. Again, you need to know your marks, where you're at. I'll say terms that movie people know. You need to know if you're breaking a line and
yes,
stuff like that. There are so many factors to it that you learn.
Okay, and then the second one would be, what advice would you give a new person getting started in the martial arts?
You know what? We live in this new martial art world now, MMA, and I like MMA. It's great, and I've fought with it. Yeah, and YouTube. But I think that a brand new person at it, go to a classical system. Everybody's into this, like I always call it, fast food world. I want it fast. Yes. Give me my McDonald's. I'm driving, waiting 2 minutes. And it takes time, and I don't want to rag on MMA too much, but martial arts is supposed to build character, not turn you into a character.
Correct.
And I kind of see a WWE attitude out of martial artists. You know, I have a friend who's a writer for the magazine. He's a black belt.
Okay.
And he said he remembered the evolution. He goes, I was going to an MMA tournament. It was like, you know, like just really getting going. And somebody bumped into me, like, hey, man. And the guy was like, whoa. He goes, I remember going to like earlier tournaments, somebody bumped me, oh, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
And they would bow and go. And that's kind of gone. It's
Yeah.
lost. And I think character building is a big part of this. And you're going to, you know, like, and not to say there's no class or character in MMA. Look at St. Pierre, you know, Anderson. So all those guys are really classy men who have a lot of character. And they still exhibit it in the ring.
Right.
You know, and I understand there's going to be smack talk and stuff, but I've seen some hellacious things happen.
I agree.
And I think character's a big part. I think learning things correctly instead of like, get in the ring. I've seen 6-year-olds in the ring now doing MMA. I just seen you know, I was scanning Facebook or something like that, and I seen 2 little kids in a face-off, you know, like for the day before the fight will weigh in, and they're kind of, you know, at each other. I'm like, oh, these are kids, come on, man. And that's a bit much for me. So,
okay. And then last question is, what's next for you?
I would say film world. I'm second unit directing now. So second, if you've never done second unit directing or know what it is, it's more of the action directing. So there's still the director, like I mentioned earlier. I find myself now behind the camera, and I like that. So it's second unit directing is plotting out everything, knowing the script, going to the director, talking to him, getting an idea for what he would like to see. Then I put it in. I'll put my 2 cents in. I'll maybe give him other options. That's kind of cool. It's kind of challenging. It's fun. It's never the same.
Okay.
And again, a lot of responsibility. Martial arts, I've had people ask me, will you train me for a fight? I would love to. I just don't have the time for it.
Got it.
So I'm still teaching. I have my whole crew of people, you know, got you,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and many people around the world. I'm traveling all over. And I'm just trying to build up you know, keep the art going and keep it like, you know, I might be a little strict about it, but again, you're taught the way, or you teach the way you were taught. And you're going to be that way if you're not already from your Aikido days, you know, but it's just, I want you, and I know you can do this, and if you don't do it, I'm going to get on you about it. And in a respectful, fatherly way, but it's just, I want people to have it, and I know that they can get this and carry on the art, and I don't want it to be watered down.
Got it.
You know, so I try to keep it as much the way it was taught to me, and not leave out any of the pieces.
Cool.
That's my goal.
Well, thank you, Guru Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to South Carolina, and of course for all the stuff that you do for all of us. Again, this is Guru Ron Balicki on Martial Art Research Systems, and this is JD with Martial Arts Limited. Thanks for watching.